today is the day. I debated about whether or not I should even do one of these videos, but it is a video that basically makeup I don't gravitate toward or makeup I just simply don't like and that doesn't work for my skin type. If you're interested to see exactly what those items entail, then go ahead and keep on watching. Okay, the first products I have are foundation. So they are both by the same brand. This is Makeup Revolution. This one is Conceal and Define, and then this one is Conceal and Hydrate. I did a review on this Conceal and Hydrate foundation, and I really liked it at the start. And I don't know what happened, but I started wearing it more and more, and I realized, wow, this actually looks so heavy on my skin, cakey, and it just doesn't wear well for me throughout the day. And so I just completely fell off the bandwagon with this. And then the other one is the Conceal and Define. And what drew me in with this is I love the application of these kind of foundations. I love doe foot applicators. I feel like it's just so nice and easy just to brush it over your skin, blend it out, and I love the glass bottle packaging. But with this foundation, I'm telling you, at the end of the day, it looks so bad. I have dry skin, so I don't have all these oils coming into play that's breaking apart makeup. And at the end of the day, remember, I went home and I was like, what in the world? I was talking to people up close, having a good time, and lo and behold, my makeup like literally was crumbling on my face. I'm gonna use the Conceal and Hydrate. I really wanna give this another shot. Who knows, maybe by the end of the day I'll be like, oh, I guess that wasn't as bad as I thought. Maybe I'm the problem, right? So I'm going in with this Real Techniques airbrush smoothing foundation brush. And I love that this one has a pump as well. And I'm in the shade F8. Definitely has more of a pinkish undertone. And it oxidizes a little fast. I'm somewhat dreading doing this video today because I have a full day of things I want to do, and to feel really confident and productive, I like when I'm wearing my favorite makeup products. It'll be fine. It'll be fine, right? Conceal and Hydrate, it claims to have, so it's medium to full coverage. I think it's supposed to have like a radiant finish, but for me it just dries down super matte. Cause I like to be myself. If you're not agree, you can walk away. You can walk away. You can walk away. Something in my mind makes me think. Here's the foundation completely on. It just looks really heavy on my skin. It oxidized into like this pinkish undertone. And I mean, look at the color difference right here. It's just blatantly obvious that I'm wearing foundation. And it's clinging on to a lot of texture. The next product I'm going in with is concealer. I have a couple concealers. I have the Covergirl Trueblend Undercover Concealer. I know that this is really like a favorite amongst a lot of people. But for me personally, I bought it with high hopes, but it just didn't do it for me. It's too liquidy, it settles into fine lines, doesn't offer enough coverage. No, there's something about it that I'm just like, if I want to have a really good under eye concealer day, I will not use this concealer. And then the other one I have is the Benefit Boing Cakeless Concealer. I don't have something like a huge problem with this, but it just wasn't one that I was super impressed with and that I gravitate toward like some of my holy grails. Let's go ahead and use the Covergirl Trueblend Undercover Concealer though. I'm in the shade, it looks like Buff Beige. It blends out beautifully. It's really easy to blend. For me, it just doesn't have like that coverage I feel like I need. And then once I set it throughout the day, it just starts kind of like thinning out. It's the weirdest thing. You can walk away. Something in my mind makes me think I ain't nobody perfect. Something in my mind makes me think I ain't nobody perfect. Next product I am using is a cream contour. It's actually concealer. This is the Wet n Wild Photofocus Concealer. I bought this with high hopes to use it as a cream contour. Only use it a couple times, and each and every time I'm like, wow, this doesn't, it like blends into nothing. So let's see if it's exactly how it was before. And this is in the shade, oh my gosh, I almost dropped it. Dark Cocoa. The same problem, it literally blends out into nothing. It's like, did I even add anything? It's so subtle. It's a very liquidy, watery formula. Going again, see if we can get some kind of buildup. Okay, it's starting to stick around a little bit. Not exactly the creamy payoff I'm looking for. Maybe it would act better as a concealer. I don't know, have you guys tried this concealer before? Okay, my cream contour is done. I will say, adding a couple layers, I do feel like it leaves a very natural contour. So maybe I wrote this one off too early. I don't know, maybe I'll keep it around for a couple more uses, maybe I won't. What do you think? This isn't an item I completely don't like because I used it for many years. I think I got it because it was like this new cult favorite when in reality I needed something that was really meant for dry skin. So this is the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. I used this for years, and now that I've used Hourglass setting powder, just like more lightweight ones, the Wet n Wild Photofocus setting powder is really lightweight as well. I've learned that this isn't the type of powder I should be using for my skin. If you have oily skin though, and it's really hard to control your oils, then I would recommend this just because it really does take that moisture out of your skin. I like to set my concealer with a very fine pointed brush like this. This is a Real Techniques contour brush, but it's the perfect shape to just go underneath your eyes, between your brows, things like that. The rest of my face, I will use the same setting powder, and I'm going in with this big fluffy Morphe E41 brush. I was having a really hard time finding a bronzer I didn't like in my collection. Usually, if something doesn't work out, it goes right back to the store for a return. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Powder Bronzer in the shade Saddle. I used this a couple summers, well, not last summer, but the summer before, and I hit pan. Because it is one of those bronzers that did work for me. I used it in a conjunction of two. I did a butter bronzer with it, and this is kind of, the one thing I felt like with this bronzer is I couldn't use it alone. I'm going in with the Morphe M527, a big fluffy goat hair brush. I highly recommend that for bronzers, just because I feel like it disperses the product so well. Let's go ahead and see. So the product in itself has a lot of kickback. That's just how I've noticed a lot of Anastasia Beverly Hills products go. It's how they're pressed. So they are pigmented, but you're going to have a lot of kickback, and the powder is just going to be a bit looser. You just have to be careful with this one because powder will catch to the brush in certain areas. This is probably my least reached for bronzer, but I still am going to hold on to it and use it because it did blend out so... It blends out beautifully. It's a little bit of a stronger bronzer. There are several other bronzers that I would rather gravitate toward. Let's go in with some eyes. I'm using the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. This palette was my first ever high-end purge. I remember getting it. I remember going into Ulta. There were only 2 more left. I grabbed one for me. I grabbed one for my sister. It was, I mean, it's just... It brings back a lot of, it brings back a lot of memories. These colors are absolutely gorgeous. When I was first starting out with makeup, I didn't exactly know how to use blushes, and so in order to make them more pigmented, I would literally fill up a pan with eye drops to make it more pigmented, and then I just put it on my crease. So that's what I'm using today. This is one I am going to be throwing away just because I've had it for, what, 4 years. Go in with the shade Limit all over the crease. Will say I do think this is one of their best selections, like just all of these rose gold colors. Let's go in with a little bit of a darker shade and go in with the shade Nooner. I'm just going to put that in my outer edge. Going in with the shade Trick. Is that the one? I'm just gonna put that right on top of my lid. Alright, let's go in with brows. This is the Morphe Brow Pencil. What I really like about this is I like the tip of it. It's a very fine, small tip, and I think the price is what? I think it's under $10, but it's one of those products, if you don't have a fabulous setting gel, it is not going to stay in place. It is going to look really blurry. By midday, your brows are going to be pretty much, you know, off somewhere on their own.
Cause I don't want nobody to change me now. Cause I like to be myself.
That's what that brow looks like. This is what this brow looks like. Like I said, this product is really easy to use. My only qualm about it is the staying power, which is why I've still held on to it, because one of these days I do want to do a full face of Morphe. Then another brow product that really confuses me is this Benefit Highbrow. These come in almost all of their kits, and it's meant to be like a highlighter shade to really make your brows pop. But there's just something about this. Like, you apply it, and what? You're supposed to just like try to blend it out. This is not a shade that's going to work for every kind of skin tone. And it only comes in one shade. For me, it might look good from far away, but when you look up close, it just kind of, like, your eye just goes straight to the underneath of my brow, and it's like, So this just totally did not work for me. Next, blush. I have a really hard time because all the blushes I have, I like. Only thing I can think about is Morphe has these palettes, which are beautiful, but for some reason, I just don't find myself ever reaching for them. I'm going to use this big fluffy blush brush by Real Techniques. I'm going to use, I don't know, should I use a color? I'll use Goals and Unapologetic. Like I said, there's nothing I don't like about these. If anything, I just feel like they're a little aggressive. Really pigmented, so a little bit just goes a really long way. So you really need to be careful and go in with a light hand. And I feel like I need to tone it down. So I just don't reach for those as much as I thought I would. And I have so many other beautiful blushes. I even prefer this Maybelline Fit Me blush over the formula of the Morphe blushes. The same goes with their highlights right here. These are just highlights in their 8L highlight contour palette that, you know, I just don't reach for. I'm going to go in with Supernova. The mirror in this palette is really high quality. Something in my mind makes me think that ain't nobody perfect. Something in my mind makes me think that ain't nobody perfect. Okay, we are about done here. I'm going to go in with the Morphe Mattifying Continuous Setting Mist. I did a review on this, gosh, a little over a month ago. I just don't like it. Simple as that. When you're spraying it on your face, it leaves white speckles on it. And I did have the kind of subscriber tell me that the instructions say that you're supposed to use a sponge afterward, and then it will take care of that problem. But the whole thing with me is I don't have time to do that extra step. You know, when I'm using a setting spray, that's supposed to be like one of my last steps. I don't need to go in with a wet sponge. It's so bad. It's just the sprayer is so bad. If you look closely, you can see white speckles here. I can really only see them on this side today. Oh my gosh. I'm going to hop off camera real quick and do my mascara. This is the L'Oreal Double Extend. It's my favorite mascara. I have a really old L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise, but I really don't want to put that anywhere near my eyes. This is one of the, I know it's popular, I know a lot of people love it, but the Lash Paradise mascara did not work for me. It flakes way too much, it transfers, and I have super sensitive eyes. If even one flake of mascara gets into my eyes, I am done for the day, just done. So I'm not gonna mess around with that, but lastly are lip products. These are the Kat Von D mini liquid lipsticks. I bought these in a set. It was about, gosh, 8 of them or something for $50, and I was so excited, and they're so cute, but the formula of these is just not that great, which is really unfortunate. Very drying. While I love all these colors, I love just like these vampy colors, they just don't make my lips look super amazing. But I'm gonna go in with, shade is pretty much rubbed off.
Something in my mind makes me think that ain't nobody perfect. Something in my mind makes me think that ain't nobody perfect.
Of course, now that all the makeup is on, I kind of think to myself, gee, was I a little dramatic? Am I too harsh on some of these products? Truth be told, it's little things like that that separate like a great foundation from like a not so great foundation, and especially if you are going to spend your hard-earned money on makeup. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I think we can all agree from different brands, there are some like hits, there's some misses, and that's just kind of how life goes. If you enjoyed this, please give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.